All right, hurry up. Let's get this chat started.
All right. Hello there. Yeah, we're back at it. I'm EL-SCRIBBLER. This is Big Daddy Mo, and
What's up?
We have a guest today. I stumbled over that part because I'm not used to having someone new. Yeah, we got Fox. Say hello, Fox.
What's up?
Okay, yeah, that's about as good as we're gonna get.
Wow.
You're not gonna get no
This is
introduction
first
from
and
me.
last time.
Okay, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm from fucking Canada. Oh shit, forgot I can't swear.
No, you can swear.
I
swear.
swear all the time. Just
Welcome to the podcast.
You know.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
primarily
okay.
all audio, but occasionally we.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
No. Yeah, I'm the one they game with occasionally. That's better than them at most games. So
Hey,
I'm that guy.
Hey, it's for fun. It's all for fun. That's all it's about.
Right.
Games are all for fun. So, The Last of Us.
It's all for fun. Only from winning.
Oh yeah. Freaking rage gamer. The Last of Us. So, okay. I have my issues with it. Let's just start from start to finish. Episode 1. Let's get on into it.
Episode 1, they adapted that. I think they adapted that perfectly. From adding in, okay, of course, we always talk about the cold open. That cold open, honestly, was scary. It's probably like one of the scariest things about the season because the shit just sounded so real, and how everybody just starts laughing at. We're calling him Hannah from the Mummy. No, Jonathan. I forgot.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
His name's Jonathan.
Yeah, that was his real name, but how Jonathan, everybody's laughing at him at first, but the more he gets in depth into it, the whole audience just quiets down. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, that's how y'all want to start this show? I'm already scared of this show. I don't need to see the infected, bro.
Was creepy.
You just telling us how it's going to happen is just scary, in itself. But I thought they adapted this shit well. I mean, from like a lot of the scenes were basically bar for bar, like the line and everything, for them going down to the driving. You got the people on the side of the road. Oh, somebody would come and pick them up eventually. Even when they did the fake out with them getting hit by the truck.
Yep.
And really, it was the airplane crashing down. Like, this episode for me was a perfect 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and the way it felt exactly like the game, the way you were walking through the city, I wasn't a big fan of that because even in the game I was rushing through it. But a lot of fans of the game when it first came out, especially like you, I know you two are diehard fans of the game. Yeah. You both absolutely love the game. For me, I found it an 8 out of 10 because I already have my top tier games, and when you find those earlier on, it's always hard to measure up, always. And yeah, I found mine, and this one was like, yeah, the storytelling is amazing, the gameplay is amazing, but it doesn't beat your first miraculous story. So for me, it was just like, it was an 8 out of 10. It's an amazing game. The show, the first episode, I was hesitant about it, but like you said, the cold open was the strongest part. It gave me something new that I hadn't seen in the game. And just like with the grandmother in the chair, you didn't see that in the game. Even though you were played as Sarah in the beginning, right? That's her name, the daughter's name?
Sarah.
Yeah. You played as Sarah in the beginning, which honestly I thought was amazing. You identified with Sarah. You dealt with her struggles with being like only having her father. You see all that. The fact that Joel's the only man in her life. She doesn't have a mother. She doesn't have really anyone else except for Joel and I guess Tommy as well. You felt all that and you got it all in the first part. Even though they did add in a bit extra, I didn't mind it. I absolutely did not mind it. It
was definitely, I'd say, necessary, especially when you're looking at from people's perspective that never played the game. If you just went into the game with that little introduction that we got in the game of Sarah and Joel, I don't think it would have heavily as impacted anybody. If anything, when I go back and I replayed the game after watching the show, I was like, man, Sarah's death in the show is in the game is still sad, but it's not as good.
Can you get out of that hallway right quick?
Fuck off. Fuck off. But no, it's definitely not as impactful. Like, they definitely improved. If you want a comparison, they definitely improved.
They had to, because if you remember in the game, if you're actually staring at the TV, they do have the scene with like the zombie ants. They introduce that in the game, but they don't have such a hard-hitting impact as they did with Jonathan. Jonathan's spiel at the beginning was funny. had you curious halfway through, and then it had you creeped out near the end.
But the zombie-fied ants was actually an Easter egg though, because you actually have to like go back or just stare there. It's not something that's just gonna pop up on a TV screen.
I found it the first time I played.
Well, here's the thing: in the game, in reality, there's no true explanation of like why this shit happened. Like they don't really go into depth. They don't say, "Oh, this happened because of this." There's actually in the show an explanation. Like you find that in. Well, we'll go into the second episode, but you find that in the two beginning episodes in the show that like, here's the explanation of why all this happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's like more than the game ever gave us.
Yeah, they really do go to flush it out more, and they expand on it, because in a game, you're given an allowance to not you're given a liberty and an acceptance to not tell the story completely. Because you're you're playing the journey, so it's normally fine. It's when you're telling it via a story standpoint where you have to go more in depth, which is why they really did that. And I really did enjoy it. Of course, that there are the issues I came across later on, but I did like it in the beginning, at the start of it all. The cold open, the fact that they added just a bit more, the fact that you see the grandmother and how she's slowly being weirded out, the whole stationary aspect of her, and then the whole when she starts twitching as she's out of focus, that had me so disturbed. Absolutely, that's like nightmare material where she's like twitching in the background. You don't know what's going to happen because this is a reimagine. Yeah, so they're going to do things differently, and they did a great job.
I have to say the first episode still is the most terrifying episode.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep,
absolutely.
I don't know who directed that one, but like whoever fucking did, they've got to have some work and some other shit, because that was one of the most terrifying.
Well, the creator is the guy that did Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
But was he the one who directed that one? Because they did have different directors, I think, first.
No. Okay. Fuck it. I guess I might as well get my phone and fact check.
You Google it real quick.
Like, as far as suspense goes, and like that scene, that grandma scene, is still the most terrifying scene I think in the show of all episodes. Like they just went spot on horror, and it was so good when I was watching it for the first time. I'm like, oh, they just made this. It got my hopes high for the show.
Yeah, and
then of course it falls off. But whatever.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I have complained about that multiple times. Like you go from episode 1, and then you get into episode 2. Episode 2 was honestly amazing. I know a lot of people had issues with the kiss scene, but I didn't mind it because it added so much to the world. They introduced the fact that they have the root system that goes along the entire ground. The world is basically getting covered by the roots. They introduced so many little things that just add so much rich detail. They started in, it was not Vietnam. Where did the whole thing start in the beginning of episode 2? Where was that backstory from?
Was that in
Philippines?
There's
something
a
like that.
University or something.
Yeah,
no, he's talking about some. Are you talking about where the infected like started and whatnot?
Yeah, the whole.
Yeah.
Malaysia, Philippines,
something like that. I'm on here now. I'm about to fact check.
Yeah, where'd that start and who directed the whole thing?
So Craig Mazin, the guy that did Chernobyl, is the one that directed episode 1, and him and Neil Druckmann wrote the episode.
Okay, that explains why it was so well done.
Actually, Craig Mazin wrote every episode. Neil Druckmann only wrote the first episode and the last episode.
Okay.
Well, that's not all well and good there, but still.
Yeah, and as far as where it is, in the second episode, Indonesia.
There it is.
Okay.
I knew it was someplace over there. It probably sounded like a racist just naming off all right.
Yeah, but I'm gonna sound like a racist piece of shit. I didn't say shit.
Yeah, but it's
I'm black. I can get away with it, and he's part Mexican.
Yeah,
you're Canadian, so I feel like everything you say is an apology afterwards. So I think we're good. But dude, episode 2, oh my god, the beginning of that, another great cold open, because we found out exactly, because there was a theory about, you know, the reason Joel, Tommy, and Sarah didn't get infected was because of the whole bread. You know, they didn't eat the crappy ass raisin cookies. They didn't get the cake. They didn't eat the pancakes. And then in the second episode, they confirmed that because it happened at the flour company. The thing that got me was when she's explaining that shit, and he said like, "Yo, you know, some of the people that got bit or whatever are still out there."
Yep.
Man, when she said to bomb them, and when she said them, she basically saying bomb us.
And the fact that she just basically said, "Can you drop me off at home?" She knows she's going to die. She absolutely already knew she was going to die. And she's just not getting out alive.
She, you know, even though she's the one that's told them, you know, made the order to do that, it's just like, you know, I'm part of this too. So I gotta stay back. I'm gonna go with my family. I love that scene. That shit was just so dark.
But the sad part is
that was so depressing.
Oh yeah.
So depressing.
The sad part is she knew it was all over. Yep. But you know how slow government is. And the fact that the whole world was basically taken over because they did not bomb themselves. Let's face it, they would refuse to. The government would always try to find another way, which honestly basically doomed them all. Because they decided to, you know what, let's see if we can contain this. That's always government's idea. Let's contain. It's never
I look like bombing myself. Hell no.
Right.
Exactly. Nope. It's never the nuclear option. As much as people like to say that it's always first the nuclear option, it's never the first choice. People try to avoid.
That's more ever a politicized thing first than anything. Like that's what media will say and everything. But that's never what governments go to first. They go for like, can we control this? Then like when all hope is lost, then they go for the bomb.
The only thing they'll do is basically, we don't want to get into politics here, but the only thing they will do is say, well, we do have nukes. That's about it.
Right.
That's basically
literally all they use.
The Cold War was. Moving nukes and everything around, just trying to one up on each other. But still, the episode was very well done. And I even enjoyed the fact that the kiss, because she was infected and all it wanted to do was increase the spread of the infection. You don't want to ruin the body.
All it wanted to do is just, it just wanted her. And could I blame her? Can I blame it? No. Yeah. Sheila was a baddie.
Yeah, I'd smash this.
Yeah, because if you think about it,
Big Daddy wishing he was that affected over there.
If they would have torn her up, dude, that looked so wrong. That looked so wrong.
Bad.
But if
we be clicking, all right. We be clicking.
If they would have torn her. Come on, I'm trying to talk here. If they would have torn her into pieces, that would have been one more body that they would not be able to control. So it's more about spreading the infection and having one more, piece to the root system that they introduced in that episode, which pisses me off.
Yeah, they did nothing with that. You saw that video I sent you when somebody else was saying the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's everybody. I'm glad everybody has that, because that root system, which they didn't have in the game, I thought that was awesome. They put in the show, because it's like, dude, just imagine you out and about, you step on a random route, and then boom, you got a swarm of infected coming your way. They did that once in this episode.
Well, dude,
it was only relevant for it. Yep.
Episode 1, 2, and like what 5 and
1, 2,
9.
Damn.
5 and 9. With
that's all they really did. With
but this is the thing. This is the thing with 1, 2, and 5. A good amount of infected.
Right.
Every other is like a cameo of like one infected. You go, no, you got one infected in Left Behind. You got one infected in see.
In episode 3, you did get the ones behind the fence.
Oh man, fuck all that. That don't count. You talking about that just to show that Bill had a trap? See, that's what I'm saying. 1, 2, and 5, you have full on infected. Episode 3 and 7, you get a cameo. It's just like, come on, man. Like I know that every time I talk about the game, I'll say, hey, it's all about the characters, it's all about the storyline, stuff like that. But we still get infected and the stuff to play around with. But of course, it's a video game. When they transfer that to the show, then it just feels like it's like just a drama. You know what I'm saying? You dealing with an infected here and there. You dealing with some raiders here and there. It's like I would love some infected.
Yeah,
because clearly that's why y'all in this situation to begin with, because everybody got infected. Where the fuck are they at?
Yeah, everyone's safe.
A lot of the times it was weird, and that's why like a lot of like the shows felt like even inside the episodes they had a lot of filler where it felt like if they would have even put infected in as the filler, it still would have been better than the filler they did.
Yeah.
I don't think it was really much the fact that the pacing was all off. It would go from quick to slow in a matter of minutes. The problem is, those of us who played the game, I guess we're expecting it to... We were filling it with what we remembered from the game. I think that's the biggest issue. We were filling it with what we remembered from the game, which filled that dead space. Our minds were going like, oh, there's an action scene right here, and we remembered that action scene. It wasn't about the fact, like, what the people who are brand new watching it were like, why is there nothing going on here? Our brains filled it because we played the part. The people who haven't played the part, it's dead slow and there's nothing going on. And then there's just these characters talking to each other.
See, a part of me wished that I never played the game so I can look at the Last of Us with fresh eyes to see if my expectation and my and how I feel about the show would change, because I'm watching, I'm just like, okay, they did great with this, they did great with that, I like this, I like that, okay, they should have did this, they should have did that, whereas somebody else is just watching it and they're just like, man, yeah, like you said, like, okay, where's the infected, man, this shit's slow, they're just doing a bunch of talking, okay, like even people that never played the game will also kind of like, well, I could talk about that later for the season finale, but yeah, as a person that played the game, it's just like, okay, I'm liking it, and of course I'm missing the action scenes a bit. But somebody that hasn't played the game is probably just thinking like something totally different.
Let's compare it to something it could be similar to The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, let's face it, after like the first 3 seasons, the infected became non-existent. However, they were always present in almost every episode. Mm-hmm. They were like a wild animal that you just had to put down every time.
Yeah.
And it still kept it interesting because they were there. Mm-hmm. Here, the infected just disappear. So, yeah, we basically brushed past episode 2 because we got over the big points. They introduced a root system.
But I do give them this, though. They did the clickers were fucking great. They killed it with the clickers, though.
The one in episode 5 was the creepiest.
They got the actual people that played the clickers to do the voice and actually be the clickers, so they move just like.
It wasn't just CGI.
Yeah, that shit was awesome.
That was practical effects.
I wish we had more of those because the clickers were fire.
Yeah, practical effects.
Yeah. But, the fact that we only had the clickers really in episode 2 was kind of depressing because I was hoping to see more. And maybe there's a couple other times they have to be really quiet, but no, we only saw them in episode 2. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
all right, let's get to the episode to where if you don't like it, you're automatic homophobe.
Oh, you mean the beach episode?
Or whatever you are.
It's the beach episode.
This is the thing. Episode 3, it pisses me off because people be like, oh, like, okay, so I follow Last of Us page on Facebook. Every time somebody puts episode 3 last, they have to explain themselves. Oh, we already know why you didn't like it. No, motherfucker. Some people didn't like it because it's straight filler. Why, it is a great episode. Great performances. I ain't gonna lie. This shit had me in tears a bit. It's a filler episode, man. Mm-hmm. It is a filler.
But should I rehash what I think should have happened for Fox's sake, or did Fox?
Go ahead.
All right.
I agree 100% with how it should have happened.
I'm okay with how it basically happened. But if you remember, I know you guys just played the game. If you remember the part where you leave Bill behind, I had the feeling that he was just about to commit suicide. In that moment, he has this look of devastation and defeat and basically being alone, solitude. It's basically gotten to him that he's going to take his own life at that moment because Frank is gone and he's alone and he sees Joel, even though he's lost Tess. That's right. Tess, yeah. He has Ellie. He has Ellie. So he has he's filled the void. And here Bill sees that his void will never get filled. What I was hoping was...
You sure that's the only thing? You sure that's the only thing he worried about not getting filled?
So imagine if, because
you'd be looking at Joe like,
I did not like I did not like the thing where he basically committed suicide literally against what Frank had. Frank wanted this ideal poetic where he'd fall asleep and die in Bill's arms. That's very poetic. That's very sweet. And if Bill would have gone 100% to the letter instead of, taking his own life, it would have seemed like more Bill. Bill would bury him. Bill would watch over the grave, basically be protective. And when Joel and Ellie show up, that's where he sees he's defeated. He's alone. He has nothing left to live for. Because even though Tess passed on, here Joel has Ellie. Here you still have that communication between Bill and Ellie. However, Bill is reserved. Bill feels he feels a spark of life seeing Ellie, seeing Joel. But as they walk away, you basically end with him standing over the grave of his loved one, and he's going to take his own life. We don't need to read it in a freaking pointless piece of paper. We see it in his face. And Nick Offerman is an amazing actor. He did an amazing job in this role. He could play that look of desperation. He could play that. And the fact that we still get the interaction that we did, which was amazing in the game, of Joel and Ellie basically talking with Bill, dealing with Bill's struggles as Joel brings up Frank. And Bill kind of dodges the question until he finally brings it out of him. I like that whole dynamic. And here, we just get the whole thing in a freaking letter. And the only thing that was hurtful was like, oh, make sure you keep Tess safe. What? No. No.
Yeah.
So I would have liked that, where Bill basically sees that Joel has both lost but got anew. And then Bill basically looks around, sees that what he's built, and he's alone. Because there is no one else there to basically fill that void. I would have preferred that as an ending, because it still gives us the great little nuances between Bill and Ellie that we did in the game. And yet you still get the heartfelt, gut-wrenching feeling, instead of basically giving us this whole, because I thought when Frank was going to die and Bill was going to suffer, because if you're in a relationship and you literally know that the person who you absolutely love is going to die before your eyes and there's nothing you can do about it, and they want you to watch them die, it hurt me. And then for Bill to basically take the poison and die with them, it felt like it cheated me of what I felt for that moment. It cheated me of what Frank had said in that moment when he's sitting in the chair. This is how we're going to do our perfect day. This is what's going to happen. And then Bill basically poisons himself and ruins that entire spiel in the beginning. I felt like I was cheated out of what I felt. If that makes any sense.
No, I feel you.
So
somebody's real passionate about that episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, a little bit. Jeez.
It was the beach episode. I loved myself a beach episode.
I don't give this guy a juice box. He needs it.
Right? Get a fruit snack.
But you got to admit, if it was done that way, it would have been far more impactful for those who played the game, for those who are watching it, instead of gut punching everyone when Frank basically says, this is how we're going to spend our last day. And then Bill basically saying, oh, I'm joining you in death. No, that just didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me.
Well, I just want to note that first, I agree with you. It would have been more impactful, and also having that interaction. And the second point I want to make, which is the worst point, is this is the best of all the filler episodes.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Which is the worst part. Is like, this is like, when I was rating all the episodes, I'm like, I have to give this a higher rating than the other two.
Yeah, this is probably in the top 3, top 4.
Right, because it had to be. It's the best filler, which is really sad when we're about to get to some more filler. So I'm like, shit.
All right. Because episode 4, I believe, is a flat out filler. They could have literally.
Episode 4, I liked it because it was most of the episode was mostly the two of them bonding. With the joke, joke having a good laugh. It was mostly them bonding. This is also the episode where they get into the town.
Yeah.
So
and they introduce Sam and
I honestly feel like you could have just put this and episode 5 together, because in the game they get into the ambush, they got to sneak around, then that's when they run into Sam and Henry. So really all of this was like, again, them bonding, them talking about Joel's ear problem that only
was relevant
only
for this.
useful to the story. Yeah, for like the last fucking 30 seconds. But I like the episode, but I could see it as filler.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do episodes where they're bonding,
Sorry.
but it doesn't have to be like the majority of the episodes, just the two of them together having a ball.
All right, now Fox, you can go.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, there was a couple like things in the episode that were really good, and like because it was filler. But like, if y'all remember the scene when that guy gets shot by Ellie.
Oh man!
And then he's fucking like that was a fucking sad scene.
When that was just like wow.
When he's just sitting there like fucking can't move with the shit, and he's like screaming out for his mom. Ellie realizes like how difficult that was actually, and not as easy as she thought it would be, because she's wanting to be like Joel, right? And she's just wanting to be like, oh, I can kill him, no problem. But like now she realizes, oh fuck, I can't do this. And just listen to him dying, screaming for his mom. Like, I love how, like, with this episode and the next episodes, they really give some humanity to the bad guys. Like, they make the bad guys like have humanity, whereas in the game, you just saw them as bad guys, right?
They actually do that a bit in part 2, to where like when you're killing like all the people and you got that last person. And you don't shoot them right away. They will actually beg for their lives. Even with Abby, like when she's killing her people, they be like, "Come on, Abby, you don't got to do this." It's like, damn. And then of course they still try to kill you. Then you off them. But they actually, I feel like they actually take that from part 2, which makes the kills a lot better. And you got to remember, like, well, damn, these they're not just bad guys. They actually have some depth to them. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to survive just like Joel and Ellie are.
Yeah, everyone's out for themselves.
Big Daddy be like, yeah, beg, motherfucker. I like it. I like it when they beg.
You're right. I can't laugh. Dude, my lip is busted.
Yeah,
hell yeah, they got to beg, bitch.
But I
scream for your mama louder.
I really felt like out of that episode 4, there were probably only 10 minutes that were worth anything. And honestly,
overall, I feel like it's a good episode. I still like it.
I don't, because there's nothing really going on. And most of what you see, you re-see again in episode 5. Because episode 4, from Sam and Henry's.
I agree with Scribbler. It should have been just one episode.
Nigga, I agree with him too. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so because there's.
So you saying it's a wait. You're saying it's a great.
I didn't say it was a great episode. I said I did enjoy the episode, but it could have still been condensed into one episode, because really all it was, again, like I said, really all it was them, interacting with each other, bonding. You could have did that in like 5-10 minutes. They get into the ambush or whatever, and then boom, we going into Sam and Henry.
Yeah.
So you could have made episode 5. You could have made that like a good hour and a half.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I agree with them, because it's not really that good of an episode if we want to take up most of the shit to compile it into one.
Yeah. True.
So it's not even like. So that's why I could see his point on that.
Man, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So
you're a guest here.
Yeah,
you're a guest here.
It's 1, 2, 5, 7, and 9 and 10 are the only relevant episodes, right?
You said 1, 2, 5. You said 1, 2, 5, 7.
No,
8 and 9.
1, 2, 8 and 9. Yeah. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5, 8 and 9. Yeah, those are the only relevant episodes. Yeah. So that's the thing, because it really has no substance. Everything could be removed and added just a tiny bit of it to the following episode, and you get everything you're talking about. The fact that Joel and Ellie were bonding. They didn't need to introduce the fact that Joel can't hear out of his ear, because that's another piece of storytelling that really served no purpose except for the villain of the week portion of it.
Yeah, that was actually pointless for us to even know that he has a hearing problem when they didn't really do nothing with it. They're like, before the show came out, like, oh yeah, Joel has bad knees. Oh, he has a hearing problem. Where does any of this come into play? Like, really? Yeah, that's like me saying, oh, I have bad ankles, but I'm over here sitting there super kicking every fucking body. Yeah. Like, no, there's a ledge here. Guess what? I can't get over it. I got bad ankles. We have to crouch. I got bad knees. I can't do none of this. It doesn't come into play, really.
Well, it's kind of like in the later episode where he's like, what was it? In Kin, episode 6, when he is like all emotional and shit. Like, but then it never happens again.
Yeah. So so episode 5. Let's just get to episode 5 then.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly, I gave this episode a 10. I thought it was a great episode. Sam and Henry, ooh.
Sam and Henry, the fact that you get the crazy chick who literally dethroned I forget what the
Kathleen.
Yeah. What were they called? The FASA? I forgot.
I don't know. I can't remember.
The security guards.
It's FASFA.
No, that's not. That's not it. Yeah, but that reminds me though. The funniest Fedra, there it is. That reminds me though. The funniest piece of dialogue came from episode 3. The government is Nazis. They are now. Yeah, but yeah, the fact that they overthrow them and they literally become exactly the same. They're torturing, leaving no survivors. They don't care. They're hiding things from the we the people. They took them over because they were not being told everything. And the fact that they're like, oh, let's not tell them what's going on when the whole city's caving in on itself. Let's not tell them what's going on.
That's basically what government do.
Yeah, and Tommy's basically staring at her, basically like, are
Tommy?
you? Yeah,
Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah,
Tommy.
Tommy.
The dude that played Perry. Perry.
He's Tommy.
He's Tommy.
Yeah, real Tommy. Original Tommy. Original Tommy.
And he looks badass anyway. That's Tommy.
Dude, that beard. Holy shit.
Yeah, the beard, bro. Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, I have respect for the beard.
Okay, but what I love is that we actually find out why. Well, in the game, were they actually after Sam and Henry in the game?
No.
Yeah. Well, they actually gave it. Well, yeah, but they actually gave a reason why they were.
They're snitches.
In the show, they actually gave a legit reason why. All this shit happened. These guys were snitches or whatever, or something like that. Or these are the reason my brother died. They didn't give that reason in the game.
In the game, as I recall, they were traveling as a group. They got separated from the group, and the group was basically killed by Kathleen's group.
Yeah,
and they were trying to hide.
Because they're snitching, and I love that. Of course, he's doing it for Sam because Sam has leukemia and whatnot. Right. So even Joe was like, I don't work with rats, even though it's like, bruh, you out here in the middle of nowhere, man. If that nigga was a rapist, you have to work with him. Like, let's be real. You can kill him afterwards, but you got to work with him.
I did not like how he said, "I've never killed anyone." It's like, dude, you a rat working with a dictatorship. You've definitely killed people. On your hands. As soon as you snitch on someone, they're dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the fact that he admitted it later, I'm like, oh, okay, at least he knows he's guilty of that. But
so what was the full story about the tunnels? Wasn't it like a mass suicide or some shit like that with all the kids?
No. They ran the clickers under the tunnels, right? But then the clickers, because they were under there and people are already trying to hide, they just kind of ran into each other, right? So it wasn't really it might have like people maybe starved, but it sounded like what they explained is it was the clickers getting through and then creating more clickers.
Yeah, I forgot because remember I ain't played the full game in a minute, so I forgot how that story went. But I wish they did have some type of infected down there too.
Yeah, but
they paid it off at the end.
That was terrifying when you're playing the game and like you're down there. That was terrifying. That was not as bad as the fucking hotel
elevator.
They
should have put that in the. They should have put that in the show. They
should have put that in the show.
Everybody in their mom hate that. The second you fall down that elevator shaft, you just like, fuck.
Well, I remember in the game, I just got so used to like figuring out the best strat to getting out of there as quick as possible. So I'd just be like running my ass and like getting out of there in like 5 minutes. I'm like, screw this shit.
Heck, what they should have done was had Sam and Henry basically split up like they did in the game.
Yeah, I was hoping they do that, especially now that
with the cave
that he's deaf. That makes it a lot better because now it's like, hey, how can Joel, fully communicate with him if need be? He can't hear shit.
Yeah. Joel just getting
really neither one of them can really hear shit, so they only got one ear, one useful ear between two of them.
Yeah, and it would have brought that back into play.
Yeah, exactly. But but the showdown with the with Joe, Sam, Henry, Ellie, and the clicker, the infected. Oh my god,
that house.
That was.
I gotta say, they did amazing with the locations because that looks exactly like the game.
Oh, absolutely.
That house, the second I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that sniper's up there. That was that was amazing. The fact that he had to go hunt him down. There was no one he had to shoot on his way there, but I like that old man was positioned there, and the fact that he tried to deal with the old man. He didn't want to take the old man out. All those little things were just little nice additions.
Oh, also, if you play the game again, you remember that the truck runs into the house into the game.
Yeah,
it's the same truck.
Yep.
In the show. Well, which I didn't notice until I played the game again. I'm like, oh shit! And if you look at the house in the game, it's an exact looking house.
Yep.
That the truck falls through.
See, that's what I'm saying. They do a great job with, like I said, with adapting the majority of the game, making it look exactly like with the angles, the shots. They do a great job at that.
Well, they didn't get Ellie on a
that bloater.
pallet.
That bloater came through fucking niggas up, one hitter quitters.
I gotta say the best part about that episode was the freaking girl clicker. That was the creepiest thing. And it's funny how immediately Joel was no longer a marksman when it came to that little girl.
Yeah.
He was getting headshots on everyone else, but the plot armor protected that little clicker.
Right, 100%. That little clicker was like scary.
I keep forgetting. Cool. Is the little boy named Sam?
Yeah.
Okay. His death was way sadder here. Just because, okay, I thought them making him younger, I'm just like, why are y'all making him even, like a little kid? Because he's about the same age, damn near the same age as Ellie in the game. But when he sits there and lets Ellie know, that he got bit, and she tries to, put her blood on the wound and all that, it just makes it that much sadder with him hugging, because it's kind of like, he's looking up to her and all that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I promise.
It was just so sad.
I promise to stay up with you all night. Oh my gosh, that was gut wrenching. And Henry, oh my gosh, his Sam. I don't know which is which.
Yeah, it's Henry.
Henry, yeah.
Henry is the older brother. I always get that mixed up.
That was amazing. I still wish that they would have showed his reaction right before he pulled the trigger instead of showing. I do like they showed Ellie's, because the tears in her eyes, it kind of shows more of her acting range, because she literally acts exactly the same as she did in Game of Thrones. She's exactly the same, but that the tears and everything really do show more. The fact that the devastation here, they showed that Sam, they introduced in this episode everything Sam had done to save his brother. Yeah. Even the fact that Kathleen is preaching to him, basically saying, everyone in this world dies for a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason for that. Everything they did nailed home the point that he sacrificed everything. The entire city that kept them safe, he sacrificed. Because remember, Kathleen hunted him down, destroyed their entire army, and those infected are all going back to the city to kill all the townspeople. Which no longer has.
I wish we saw that.
So
I wish we saw that shit.
He destroyed everything to save, killed hundreds of people to save his brother. And the fact that his brother is completely infected, dies, he is responsible for hundreds, maybe thousands of deaths. You see it all, especially in the game, in that moment when he realizes it. When he's pointing the gun at both Ellie, pointing it at Joel, back and forth, and then takes his own life. That is absolutely amazing. I loved it here.
I'm trying my hardest not to cry over here. Damn.
Well, I didn't think about that until now. And then, pointing the gun at Joel, saying, "This is your fault." It's him trying to push the blame. I was like, "Oh shit! Look at all the shit I did. This is my fault. This is your fault. We wouldn't be in this mess if it wasn't for Joel and Ellie."
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Because that's the thing. He's trying to.
Need a big ass tissue.
He's trying to. He realizes everything. Because if they nail home the point for all the people viewing what he has done to save his brother, instead of the fact that he's just running and hiding with his brother, and then his brother dies, and then he takes his own life. This is far more impactful. I thought they were going
to change up the ending where Joel was just like, we're getting ready to head down here, and he automatically like, oh yeah, I'll come with y'all. I'm like, yes, they're changing it up. Y'all gave Bill and Frank their little 20 years together. Let us get like another episode of Sam and Henry. No, they still killing the same. I'm like, so the fuck it, I'm saying it. Oh, so y'all gonna let the gay dudes get this beautiful love story. They go out beautiful, but let the niggas still get the shitty ending. Get some fuck out of here.
Well,
Racist. Y'all are racist. I don't give a fuck.
Bring it up with Neil
That's exactly
Druckmann.
how I saw it. I was like, that's some bullshit. Y'all can't let us get a beautiful ending. Get the fuck out of here. No, that's how it is in the game. Okay, what about Bill and Frank?
They should have
Exactly.
made Bill and Frank be black people.
But no, yeah, that ended. That was sad as shit though. I was devastated. I think I cried like this whole show. I probably cried like maybe 4 times.
And if you think about it, they're trying to kill off all because they changed Sarah, right? And they wanted to kill her off.
Oh, Marlene, they still killed her. They
Yeah,
didn't let her go.
Kill her.
Yeah,
They like
shot her in the gut and let her bleed out.
they even gave Tess a better ending. No, they really fucking us over here.
Yeah.
They really fucking us over here.
That's what your
They're like,
review
Frank
should be.
hung himself.
And the worst
Well,
part
we can't let him do that. We're gonna give him a better death.
Hey, yo,
what about Sam and
yo.
Henry? Man, fuck that kid. We're gonna make the kid deaf and younger.
And you know what? Joel's daughter, let's make her black.
Wait. And the worst
and
part
before
is,
she dies, we're gonna have her make raisin cookies.
and the worst part is, they even butchered Marlene's death with Joel's like monotone.
Oh my
speech.
god! You just come after her. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
whatever.
Yeah. So let's move on to episode 6.
Yeah, I got 25
Can I
minutes
give
before I
my
can
point
leave.
first on this one? I got some thoughts on this
All right,
one.
you
Which
go
one?
on. You go on.
All right.
6.
So
Okay.
one thing I talked to Big Daddy about is I've been wondering, like,
Don't call me.
you know, how different Joel is from the game.
Mhm.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, your video just cut out for a second.
Nah, it's good.
Weird.
Yeah,
It's your signal.
got shitty Discord.
Yeah. No. So I'd been wondering, like, how different are they from the show to the game? And I went in and this was around the time I started playing the game again, and then episode 6 came out, and you know, all of us probably feel the same. Where that final scene in episode 6 just didn't hit the same.
Oh
Nope.
no.
When you know, Joel and Ellie are talking, and it's really impactful that she's like sharing with him, like, hey, I've lost everybody, and I don't want to lose you too. And it's just not as impactful. And I thought about this from playing the game. We have a completely different Joel, a Joel who, you know, doesn't care anymore, doesn't want to share feelings, doesn't want to be a dad. Like, he tries to show that he doesn't care about Tess, like all this shit. Whereas in the show or in the game, he's still more like a dad. Like the way he talks to Ellie and the way he talks to Tess, he's still more like a dad. So when you have this scene where you're trying to have this kind of Joel do this scene, it just doesn't work. Because you're trying to push a different character to do the same scene. And,
Yeah.
you know,
He
I
hasn't turned
noticed
it.
that, especially in this episode, is, you know, you can do these scenes and that's great, but they have to be, if you're going to change the character of Joel, you have to adapt it to him, and they're just not going to be as impactful.
Big Daddy, he just has a cold, okay? He's just a little sick.
Please tell us why it's always just like every
just-
time he gets to the good part. Every time he gets to the good part.
He's just a little sick. It's got a little cold, all right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Fox. I'm trying to like listen, but every time you like get to like the end of your sentence, I'm like, and everything it ends just jokes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh god.
But one thing I gotta say is this was literally 3 chapters all put into one. And
Episode 6.
yeah, and we had literally the best couple in the beginning, that Native American couple, and then we had the worst couple. It's funny. Yeah, they really don't like black people. Look at what they did to the. You think about it.
Damn it. Because I couldn't stand Maria.
They screwed
I hated her. Man.
all
Like, bitch,
over.
Like, yo, Joel is here. Okay, it doesn't matter what they used to do because they brought up what Joel and Tommy used to do. Basically, you know, how they were killing innocent people and all that. Okay, guess what though? Your husband is alive because his brother did some fucked up shit. He's not that person anymore. You look at the world you're living in. You have to do You have to do fucked up shit to survive. They had to do that. I'm sure they regret it, but you know what? They are here today, and they had to do what they had to do. So the fact that she over here judging him and go sit there and tell Ellie like, watch who you trust and all that, bitch, get your ass out of here. I couldn't stand her ass for that shit.
Yeah, so I honestly
shitty ass, doodle ass, fucking dreads.
So
but
now,
you ain't no Michonne.
Now we're discussing it. Yeah, the writers have to be racist. The fact that they did all this.
I did not like her
in the game.
I like Maria in the game a lot better.
Yeah, she's white in the game. And she's a lovable character. Ellie trusts her in the game.
My God.
Here, they turn her into a controlling, manipulative shrew. In ABC. Not a AAA, in ABC.
I just did. I'm glad I wasn't the only one that did not like her, because I was just like, damn, like, why are you trying to turn Tommy? And then the fact that she cut off communication, so Joe didn't even know if Tommy was alive or not. Like, yo, what are you doing?
Yep.
I know me and Big Daddy talked about this, but it also felt like when she was doing the haircut scene that she was like gonna kill Ellie.
Oh,
she was just getting off.
She's got a creep vibe.
Like it's kind of like she kind of like forced her into getting her haircut.
100%. It was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, I think it was all meant to just show her in a bad light because she's no longer white. And say whatever you want, this show is not inclusive. It's not, because what it did with some of the cast members, they literally made them worse or kept their story exactly the same and made the white people have better endings. And anyone who had to die or be a terrible human being, except for David, I guess. I'm surprised they didn't change David around, but still. It's just one of those things that
make David Tyrese.
Yeah. I'm just hungry.
Hey, let me stop.
So,
hey, I can imagine the with Tyrese. Oh no, let me stop, because that's a bad. So when he's sitting right here before Ellie gets ready to kill him, he on top of her. My pockets ain't empty, cuz.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like there are so many things they did in this episode that just alienated me from that whole location. The whole communism joke was just like, okay, that's funny, I guess, but the fact that Marlene was just controlling, manipulative. Here she's pregnant. Joel is having an issue, has had an issue, didn't know if Tommy was alive. Tommy's not only alive, he is married and expecting a kid. Joel was not allowed to know any of this. Joel has a right to be angry. Here, this manipulative, controlling woman literally has stripped Tommy of any right.
Right. Well, it made more sense in the game for the fact that the explanation was, oh, we had a falling out and we haven't talked for years. The last thing you said is, I don't want to ever see your fucking face again. Like, that made more sense of why they haven't communicated than, oh, you can't use radios.
Yeah. Much more sense. The fact that he got angry at him for doing dark things, bad things, because Tommy didn't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah. It's just aggravating. So the episode was a complete trashy episode. The start,
it really was.
The start was amazing,
and it was unfortunate because I think we all really wanted that scene to be really good, especially that final scene.
I think, like I said, it was also because the lead up to it too.
Well,
like how the hell did she hear that conversation?
Yeah,
and only hear the one part. If you heard the entire conversation, then you know that Joel is breaking down because he knows for a fact he cannot protect you because he's older. His body doesn't work the same as it did 20 years ago. So he's getting somebody that's more fit to be able to keep you safe. And the fact that you sit there and go at him like that, that's why that whole interaction didn't work well, because it was just like, bitch, did you not just hear everything I said? It's not that I'm getting rid of you because I can't stand you. I'm not going to be able to keep you safe. And then what happens at the end of the episode? Right. He damn near dies.
Yep.
Stupidly because he pulls out
most stupid way.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Everyone knows.
I can think about it. If Joe wanted to end his life and he just thought there's no purpose, sure, pull off the fucking knife. But come on. You're trying to keep yourself alive for this girl that you're starting to see as your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just gonna pull out the knife? You're like, I don't care what kind of shock you're in. You're not pulling out a freaking knife.
Even I know that.
Yeah.
Even I know that. I'm just like, you get stabbed with something. If you can't, what is it? Is it cauterized? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
If you close the wound. Can't clean the wound.
You can't close that wound up. You keep that shit in. Like
Right.
even I know that.
Yeah. So
Even my depressed ass would know to go to a hospital. Even my depressed ass would be like, "Well, this is a chance to die."
yeah. It's just in the game was so much better because he fell onto rebar.
Now the idea of falling onto rebar and then pulling yourself out of it, still you're gonna like probably die even quicker.
Yeah,
You're,
so
like,
I give
impaled
them
all
that.
the way fucking through. So
Yeah.
like,
Well, it didn't
they
have to
probably
be
just
all the
should've-
way through. It could have just been like a part of him, and the fact that he needs
Yeah,
help
I
because
don't
he
know.
needs the aid to get up. It would
just
have,
like the
Oh,
impact.
not even
of
that.
him
He didn't even have to
falling
fall
through
on a
the-
rebar. He could have still got stabbed or something. I don't know.
But leave it
Maybe
in.
he's fighting the
Yeah,
guy.
if it was something other than the rebar, even if he got stabbed but didn't take it out, and then Ellie tried to take it out later, or because she would have to take it out later, but him taking it out just doesn't make any
Yeah,
fucking
that's
sense.
what was just so dumb
that
about.
was the worst part right there.
Right, 100%. And then like also the ending scene where they're pulling the camera out, and you're like, "What the fuck is this shit? What are you doing? Go to fucking black. Don't just like fucking pull out the fucking film and just like pull out shot. No, fucking
Yeah.
go to black.
And the fact
Like
that
the
it was
game, because
only four
that's-
people. Only 4 people.
Yeah.
That's something that absolutely bothers me because here, like, honestly, I was okay with it when it happened because it's 4 people. It's not a big deal. It's they're outnumbered. He's trying to keep Ellie safe. And then you see the very last episode where he's taking out an entire hospital. Everyone has guns, and here the 4 people didn't have a single weapon except for a bat. They all had bats. Why
Yeah.
not just take them all out? So it's just dumb.
All right, let's move on to the next episode. I got like 15 minutes left.
All right, I know this is your
next
favorite.
episode's at 0 anyway.
Episode 7?
Yeah, that's your favorite.
Episode 7 was ass, bruh.
What?
Like, this was the weakest episode.
0.
Hey, as okay. Look at this. As much as I love the game, hold on. Didn't I rate this a 7? I'd probably give it a 6. As much as I love the DLC, I thought the DLC was fun. The thing about the show is, you know, we get the flashback to her, you know, like 3 weeks before the story, and we see them in the mall, but it's fucking boring because it's just them in the mall. Whereas in the game, it's like, okay, we're learning a bit about Ellie because like you can like play some games, you can do questions, you can ask about Ellie's mom or whatever, blah blah blah, and it's going back and forth. So her first time in the mall is with Riley. That's when she gets bit. And then also we're going back to present day to where she's also in another mall scavenging supplies for Joel, and she's battling infected and raiders. So I would have liked the episode more if they did it that way, because seeing a flashback of Riley would have made more sense, because guess what? She's in another mall. Where here it's just like, okay, we're getting a flashback to Riley because, oh, you know, she doesn't want to lose somebody else. So we're going to where she lost the most important person in the world at that time. I get it, but it's just them in a mall the entire fucking time. So it's just boring. I love that she actually is playing Mortal, because in the game it was supposed to be Mortal Kombat 2. So I like here that they're actually playing it. I like that they do a lot of stuff they did in the game, but at the end of the day, it's filler. It's super filler. It's not needed.
It's the worst.
Y'all could have dropped this episode as like a bonus episode, like maybe a month later or some shit.
Right.
But to sit there and do it after we're waiting to see if Joel dies or not, you know, like, it was bullshit.
And the fact that they start
I'm
this
dropping
episode,
this episode down to a 6.
the fact that they start this episode showing that Joel is alive.
Wait, Scribbler.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
What do you have this episode rated as?
I had it at a 7. I'm not gonna give it a 0. It wasn't bad. It was just fucking filler.
The ones that are non-existent to me are literally just zeros, absolute zeros.
Yeah, so this one was 0 for me. Like the other fillers, I can't play zeros because at least they added a little bit more.
They had like at least 5 minutes. Like this is what I call the other episodes were all Naruto fillers. That's because Naruto, an episode, will have like 2 minutes or one piece of dialogue that is relevant to the overall story. So you have to watch it.
Right.
Then there's the beach episode, which is always fun. It's entirely filler, but it's fun to watch, which was Frank and Bill. And then here we have the One Piece filler episode, which basically goes to a completely fictional realm, not even related to the story whatsoever, telling us something that nobody cared to ask, and it just is absolutely terrible, and I couldn't stand it.
Well, I asked Merkel, I was like, hey, did you watch episode 7? And he's like, no. I'm like, just skip it. And he went to episode 8. He's like, what did I miss in episode 7? It felt like they just went from episode 6 to episode 8. Like, what happened in episode 7?
There is no episode 7.
I'm like, literally nothing. He's like, dude, it felt like I was just playing the game. I'm like, I know. That's exactly pretty much what it was.
You know what? I'm gonna drop it down to a 5. Because if you really think about it,
just drop it down to a 0.
I'm not dropping it down to a 0. Will I ever watch the episode again? No.
That's 0.
So I'm gonna drop it down to a 4.
0.
I'm not gonna ever watch it again.
I will never watch it again because really, like he says, like the game. Like in the game, you know, the shit happens when Joel passes out, and then we picks it up where Ellie is hunting. So in the show, you skip episode 7, and it just jumps right to that scene. So it's the game. So yeah, I give it a 3.5.
Wait, don't you love it how Ellie heroically runs upstairs to get majority of all the medicine she needs to save him? That happens to all be in the same house.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of dumb.
Love that. All right, well, let's
move on to episode 8.
Yep, episode 8. Now here we go.
This is my favorite.
I fucking loved episode 8. I love David.
Got to say, why didn't we get freaking Ellie and David fighting infected? Why not? They could have given us 5 minutes.
All the infected. Y'all could have brought in some infected.
5 minutes. 5 minutes of that would have been so nice.
5 minutes.
And also, I would have liked them to have a scene with the deer avoiding the fungus root system. Because instinctively, animals would have cued onto it. Animals would be avoiding the root system immediately. Keep it relative. Right. Oh, also, I forgot. In episode, what was it? 2? Where Ellie stabs episode 3. Episode 3, the start of episode 3, where she stabs the freaking rooted infected. And none of the infected come charging, right?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Oh, shit.
In episode 7, the filler episode, it's one rooted infected that hears the girls screaming and playing, unroots itself, and charges after him. Where are the other infected, huh? Where are they?
They would have known he left.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They would know what he's hearing because it's all connected. So if you think about it, they only had that villain of the week in that episode 2. Just like Joel's hearing issue. They had so many opportunities to bring it back, which they were like, oh, it's not relevant anymore. That we had it for basically having Tess die, having her be useful for her last few moments. That was it. That way, they can't get any more guns because scavenging is supposed to be hard in the game. So it was just absolutely terrible. They had all these opportunities to bring it back, and they didn't. Here, it would have been nice to have the deer stepping over one of the vines just to bring it back a bit. Show us that it actually is an issue. No, they're walking around the world as if nothing's happened because there is no infected. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what? Let's just keep going. I was trying to get my tire patched up, but you know what? Fuck that tire. I'll make an appointment for it later. I've ducked this long with it. I can wait like another hour or so. Anyway.
Right.
Okay. So I was talking about the rooted shit. Let's talk about David. As much as I would have loved Walton Goggins to play David, I thought he would have been an amazing David. This David was good. And honestly, he looked like a pedophile, bro.
Honestly, I gotta say, now that we've discovered the casting and the whole story arc of this series, he should have been black. Honestly, they should have made him black. It would have held to the freaking.
Would have been appropriate.
You know what? I'm sorry. Tyrese, if you think about it, Tyrese really would have been perfect because remember that scene where they're all eating and everybody's scraping their plates? Guess what? Tyrese has a full plate of food.
Exactly.
Tyrese would have been perfect.
And everyone else is basically scraping the freaking empty bowls.
Oh my God. I personally thought this David was even creepier than the game.
Oh, absolutely.
In a way that like not only is he manipulative to his community and super controlling.
You was having a hard time with that word, huh?
Oh, I always have. Don't worry.
Manipulative.
I struggle over words all the time.
Okay. I'll just shit on Big Daddy when he's like gaming or some shit. It's like, where are you? I'm like, look at the map.
Just let's close the door on him.
Yeah, well, guess what? You in my world now, bitch.
Yeah,
but dude, I just love how evil he is. Like he gave off this impression in the game that he was actually good. Like he made it believable to my mind.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot he was evil.
Oh,
Like his monologue about the infected and how beautiful they are, and
yes.
evil, and he's trying to justify his own ass. Like, holy shit, he is such a bad person. Holy shit, but he's so convincing.
yeah. Honestly,
And did they use the power of God in the game? Like, was he like a
No, they didn't.
This is
get into that.
But when you run through his place, you know, when you have to sneak through, did you see like any banners or anything inside there?
No.
Okay.
I couldn't remember that shit.
So what I got the vibe where Gary Oldman from the Book of Eli, succeeded in getting the Bible. Because remember, he wanted to control his group by using the words that are in the book, because he knows how powerful and manipulative that you can use those words for, as long as you're the only one reading it. So I like that aspect. I like the fact that he had it and he was just herding all these sheep. But what he wanted was another shepherd the entire time. He wanted another shepherd. He didn't want a sheep because those were easy cattle that he could eat at any time, which is why he strung them along, because he needed food for himself. It wasn't about the congregation. It was about having a meal for the next day. I love that aspect that he was using the Bible to justify every action he had. It was perfectly done.
And I like Troy Baker's James, because I don't even see this thing. I don't even remember him in the game like that, James. I just remember him as a
he was more of a side character.
He was a side
character. Whereas here he has a conscience. He's not. He's having second thoughts on everything that David is saying and doing. Hell, even he's getting like a spoonful of food. You know what I'm saying? So even him is just like, man, I don't know about this shit. You know, David wants to keep Ellie, whereas he's just like, man, we should kill this bitch. You know. So I like Troy Baker's James here.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do like how they humanized everyone. Everyone has their own goals as to why they're doing this. I like that. It flushed out the world instead of raiders all being categorized under one thing. Everyone has their own. They're all trying to help their people. They all are. So I like that.
Let's be real. Joel, at one point, Joel and Tommy was raiders.
Yep.
So you know they're just like them. So,
even Joel and Ellie right now could be considered raiders.
Yep,
100%.
Yeah,
because they'll pull a trigger on somebody they don't suspect, that they're just like, oh, they look shady, let's take them out before they can take us out. It's that mindset.
In this world, everybody is the same. There is no like you told me, there is no good people.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, if there's an old lady that got like a basket full of food, I'm sorry, I'll leave you an apple. But we hungry.
Yeah.
We hungry.
But
hey, I wanted to say something about this episode, because I think I talked to Big Daddy about this, how important especially the final part of this episode was for me, because in the game, to me, this episode is Joel finally acknowledging to himself that Ellie is his daughter. You know, that whole it's okay baby girl, and him just like pretty much taking her under his wing.
Yeah.
And then you see essentially the next chapter of the game, he has to decide whether he's going to let her die or not.
Yeah.
Well, you know, my biggest worry is because they've been changing shit so much that they were going to change this final episode. But when you have that scene where Ellie's like just killing David, and then he leaves, I got pissed off for a second, because I was like, are you fucking kidding me? They're going to change it? But they made it better. Like, him not knowing exactly where she was.
Yeah.
And then her going out there and just the horrified look on her face.
All right. Yeah.
It made me cry. I couldn't help it. It was so, like, I felt so bad for her character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right,
that he wasn't there to comfort.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say though, one thing that I absolutely loved was the torture sequence. However, let me get this out of the way. There's another issue I have. Why is it that there were only less than 5 people? Joel killed 3 people in the town. James was killed. David was there. So that's 5 people in total. There were like 40 people in that dining hall. As the dining hall is on fire, burning down, there are no other people anywhere. Everyone disappeared. Who was
true.
Joel literally walks into the town and says it's okay, hugging her as she's freaking out because he's grabbing her from behind. Where are the other people? She walks out into the middle of nowhere and no one's outside watching. There's no gunfire in the background as Joel's killing people trying to get into town. All that was just like, what? This is why it was only 40 minutes, because they ripped out all of Joel's portion and all the townspeople became non-existent. But that torture sequence was amazing.
Oh, he did that. They did
better
that.
than the game. Better than the game too.
Yes.
Still is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that whole scene was just great.
And hearing the knee pop, and I was like, "Oh, I'll tell you, he told you everything." I believe him. It's just like,
How would you rate this episode? Like, what was your rating?
7.
I think I gave it a 9.
That's fair. I think I gave it like an 8.
Yeah.
Did I give it? I forgot. I know I gave the season finale an 8. I think I gave this one a 9. I really
gave it like a fucking 11 out of 20.
Because if you think about it, there's no infected, there is no root system, there is no Joel going into the town. The townspeople disappear. The only real redeeming factors is David and the fact that he's using the Bible to manipulate the people, and then Ellie's relationship with David, the whole creepy aspect of it all, the torture sequence, and that's it. Those are like 4 things that are redeeming, but they took out so many other things that were vital to the story and made the story so much richer. The problem is, again, the people who played the game can fill the void with it. But I'm thinking of it like someone who hasn't played the game, they're going to be wondering why Joel just walked into the middle of their base where there were like 50, 60 people there and didn't do a thing. They're all cannibals. They all are almost basically aware that they're cannibals. Let's face it. Even if they weren't all in the know, they're all in the know. But
true.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, I liked David. I liked Ellie. I liked Joel's torture sequence. Other than that, I had so many other issues that it's just like the game's sequence was better. Except for the torture.
Before I forget, did anybody else besides me think that girl at the beginning was also David's pet?
Oh no, what girl at the beginning?
Like the girl that he like slaps or something.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
I thought like she was like Ellie.1 for him, right?
I didn't think of that. Holy shit.
Well,
to me, I thought that. I was like, oh, Ellie probably isn't the first.
Of course not, because
no. People like that. Of course, they're not the first.
He slaps her and goes "You have a father."
Yeah, well, it just made me think because she was already there. Yeah, the whole already have a father. I was like, oh, fucking creeper, motherfucker.
That part where he just straight up, when he's on top of Ellie and he just straight up says, my favorite part is, was it the struggle or whatever? Yeah. I was just like, wow, he flat out just came out and said what he's about to do. That shit was
but
wild.
That's the thing. If you think about it,
it's burning down, bro. Come on.
That other girl
really needed that bad, nigga.
That other girl doesn't struggle anymore. So he lost interest in her and wants Ellie because Ellie will fight.
Right.
Oh, let's move on. Let's move on.
Well, he got the machete to the face, so he ain't gonna be doing that shit no more. So yeah.
Let's move on.
Hey, another reason why he's a great villain. I love him in the show and I love him in the game. That motherfucker, man. Whew.
That's a good.
Sometimes those villains are just the ones that you just hate, but when they talk, they can make some good sense out of a lot of shit.
Yep, and the way they rationalize their own actions.
Yes.
Me and Big Daddy talked about this the other day. It's like people always say like the Joker and these likable villains like Loki are amazing villains. They're not really villains though. If you can say they are because they have a way of persuading people, but like the best villains are the ones that you can't fucking stand. Like fucking Dolores Umbridge is like
just Dolores Umbridge. Yeah, there's the one from Game of Thrones, the inbred prince, Joffrey.
Yep.
Joffrey.
I never even watched that show, but I fucking hate him.
You know what? He did such an amazing job. It killed his career.
Yeah.
That's when you know you did a good job.
It's true. No one else is going to hire you.
Yeah, because he's the inbred prince. Just
exactly.
All right. Next episode.
9.
The giraffes. It was the giraffes. And they were real giraffes. They were real giraffes.
Wait, oh, Scribble. Did you feel like they wasted 5 minutes by doing that?
Motherfucker.
I
Go
went
ahead.
through that part of the game like in 2 minutes. I did like the fact that it was literally beat for beat from the game, where she drops the ladder and Joel's like, wait a minute, and you're like chasing her. That shot for shot, and then it turns out that it's giraffes, and I'm just like, what I did like was that they don't say winter, fall, summer. It's the next day. It could literally be a week later. It could be a month later. We don't know. So we know Ellie's still struggling with it. When I saw that it was an entire spring or whatever, Joel and Ellie haven't been talking like normal for like over 3 months, 4 months, however long the winter was. So it's just like one of those things that it was a little addition, and I like that they didn't spend 20 minutes on the giraffes, contrary to what some people think.
They should have spent an entire hour on the giraffes. I'd have been fine. I would have gave this episode a perfect fucking 15 out of 10, bro. Give me more giraffes. I need more giraffes. I need a whole swarm of giraffes with the same music.
Dude, that music was beautiful. And but
music
also
was beautiful.
I think me and Daddy both wanted like 10 minutes of giraffe.
You cut out.
Play the game. Play the game if you want that.
I wanted 10 minutes of giraffes live action.
Yes. I needed 10, 20, 30.
Go to the zoo.
Fuck the zoo.
But dude, like the best part is like when they're just leaning on the railing and looking at the giraffes and
It's
like
so
just
beautiful.
chilling.
I can't wait to play that
It's
part
so
again in
fucking
the game.
beautiful.
I'm gonna just sit there.
What is
Come
it?
on, Scribbler.
What is it? Disney World in Florida. They have a hotel where they actually have giraffes outside the window.
Well, why don't you fucking pay for a ticket for me to go?
I will play that music and I will pet those giraffes.
Yeah, just spend your entire weekend there.
Can you also
would.
dress up like Joel, please?
Ooh, that'd be awesome. I would.
Yeah, Fox, you can dress up like Ellie.
You be Black Joel. I'd be your Ellie.
Yeah, you'll be the caretaker. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But dude, okay. So I was talking to a friend about this episode, and they agreed with me. This episode felt unfinished. It did not feel like a season finale. It felt like rushed.
Amen.
Which a lot of stuff felt rushed in this show, and I'm just like, I mean, I like how they did switch it up to how they got to the hospital, because remember in the game, which what sucks is we still don't get to see Joel push Ellie around on a pallet in the water. We get the pallet when they're trying to climb up to see the giraffe.
We also
they're not.
Don't get Ellie jumping on someone's back and doing an X-23.
Yes,
we didn't get that.
The only one we ever get close to, like her jumping in the pallet, is episode 2 when she's like talking about water.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
so in this one they throw a flashbang because they think they're intruders, but really, they find out who they are later. So I like how they do that. But like the whole hospital, but that's the thing though. You think about it. This episode was I love that Joel talks about the scar and how he tried to commit suicide. They never mentioned that they never mentioned that in the game. They mentioned that here. And I love how he basically just saying, like,
I missed.
Because of you, it's why, I'm becoming my old self again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a reason for living. Right. I love that.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing.
His heart to heart was actually good and not filler heart to heart. Heart to heart.
It actually hit a lot more than the you're not my daughter scene.
Yeah.
This scene hit a hell of a lot harder because the lead up to it.
I think it's mic cut out.
Well,
there you go.
I was gonna say, like, it's also this Joel. That's his scene. They were trying in episode 6 to force this Joel to say other Joel shit and do other Joel shit. You that's like why this scene works for his Joel. But if you had video game character Joel say this scene, it wouldn't be as impactful because it's not the same character.
No, you actually have a point. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So one thing I'll say is I don't like how Marlene, is that her name, right?
Marlene, yeah.
So I did not like how she was talking about how for a fact Ellie would want this, for a fact, when she literally told Joel, because Joel's asking, where's Ellie? Oh, she's prepping for surgery. Oh, we took her right there. Oh, it's just like Ellie. Yes, she would have agreed to the whole situation. She would have. The fact that both Joel and Marlene are taking her her ability to say goodbye to Joel. Exactly.
I don't feel bad anymore.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things that absolutely aggravated me because this was the perfect chance to have Ellie say goodbye. The fact that you didn't allow Ellie to say goodbye to Joel, to talk Joel, because Ellie knows Joel. Even Marlene knows Joel. And the fact that she allowed him to leave is just mind-blowing. She literally wanted Joel to kill her, to kill every single Firefly, to free Ellie, because she knows who Joel is. She knows what Joel is capable of. And it was absolutely dumb to say, oh, you did not give her a choice. Yes, Joel's taking her choice away from her, but he's at least giving her and letting her live instead of just taking her life away from her without giving her a say in the matter. Yes, he's letting her live, and then he lies to her after the fact. Yeah, that's bad, but still, she gets to live her life, even though the Fireflies are gone.
Well, like, also something's dumb about her is like I think we all talked about how in the first episode it just kind of felt weird that Ellie trusted Marlene with her life, even though Ellie didn't know Marlene. But in the game, they had a relationship, right? But then in this one, at the beginning, the opening, we see that Marlene and Ellie's mom were actually close, and then we're like, "What the fuck? You said you'd take care of her, and then she doesn't even know you exist."
Yeah, and the fact that they used Ellie's the original Ellie to be the mother, that was
that was great, bro.
That was
Ellie,
epic.
basically Ellie giving birth to Ellie. I love that.
Yeah, the future Ellie. Yeah, I like that whole scenario. But the whole thing just felt rushed. I didn't like it. Nothing made sense because in the game, at least, it adds a little. It works a little better. It seems to flow more naturally because Marlene, I think, in the game doesn't really tell him much of anything.
Yeah.
Just tries to get him out of the building. It's just like, we're taking it from here. Instead of saying, oh, we're prepping her for surgery. You know she would want this. You know we have to go.
They did that in the game too.
It's just like aggravating. I absolutely hated this right here. It just didn't work. Well, maybe that's one of the reasons I gave it an 8 out of 10. But it's just...
As much as I love Joel going through just fucking annihilating everybody, I was just like, it worked in the game, but just this one person, I don't know.
Well,
it was just like 30 dudes in there.
What made it not work is the fact that they established that Joel has hearing problems. He's crippled. He has an emotional instability. And he couldn't take out 4 people who were running at him with bats.
That's true. And you know,
he's like pretty much became like John Wick. Damn it!
He literally became John Wick for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like for 30 seconds in screen time, he became John Wick. Yeah, it was like a fucking cool scene in a way because it's like you saw no emotion come over Joe.
I like how it was shot.
Kind of like, yeah, absolutely.
But
the sound and everything.
If you watch this scene alone and we're like, oh, I'm excited to see the entire series, you would be completely let down because it does not establish this. It actually goes completely against this. And then you get it here. It is so out of left field that no one can catch it. No one can catch it. It's just like, whoa, whiplash.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. It was 100% rushed. It should have been at least, I'd say if you added 30 more minutes of screen time, it would have been fine.
Yeah, I give you that.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like for me, in the end, it was 6 out of 10. But I think I'm rating it a 5 out of 10 now.
Are you talking about the season finale or the whole show?
Whole series, the entire show.
Mine's 7. I said 7. 7 for me.
I gotta recalculate mine.
Yeah, yours was like a 8.5
8.7.
8.7, yeah.
8.7, but it's probably I'm still giving first 2 episodes a 10. I love both episodes.
Yeah,
I'm giving third episode a 9.
My biggest episode with 2 was it was so well done. They introduced something so amazing, and then after that episode, they decided that it was not important anymore, not relevant. And that alone brings that episode down because knowing that the entire world is basically becoming an entire interconnected, woven root system. The world is interconnected. That thing is conquered everything. Only to go like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore. It's not relevant. And they literally do it in the very next episode. They show that it's not relevant. In episode 7, they show that it's not relevant. Every single time they show that it serves no purpose. And the fact that it sounded so amazing when they said it, that's the biggest issue.
You fucked up my calculating.
That's the biggest issue. You can't introduce something like that and make it absolutely relevant to the story because people who played the game are so latching on to any bit of detail like that. And then you do not do anything with it. Even worse, you go completely break your own rules. I mean, if they got rid of the infected entirely, it would make more sense because, okay, there's no root system to deal with. The infected are all gone.
Well, that made sense in the big city when they're like, we ran all these guys underground, so we don't have them up here. Okay, that's understandable. Why in episode 5 and for the most part of episode 6 we don't see affected. They actually gave a solution. But for the rest of the game, there's no fucking reason why not.
Just say what you've calculated.
No, it says damn. That's sad that I said it like that. It says an 8.1, but I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, I got a feeling it should be a little lower.
Yeah,
because I don't feel like I hate that I said, man. God damn it, I did jinx myself. Because remember, I kept saying this show's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. It ain't going no lower than a 9. Right. I can't see myself really watching the whole thing over again.
Yeah,
I didn't see myself like I'm about to rewatch The Last of Us. It's not
going to rewatch it at all.
It's not a bad show, but I love the game so much. And then when they put it to TV, a lot of the chapters, a lot of the scenes are adapted well. It's just like the stuff around it, stuff that's leading up to it, the stuff that they change. It's just kind of like a hit or miss. Because again, I have no problem with them focusing a lot on the story and on the characters and all that. But when they take out a lot of the infected, a lot of the action scenes, and then give us filler, a lot of the shit is filler. And then they change up some of the characters, like Maria. I can't stand Maria. Bill and Frank, great love story, great episode. Filler. When everybody loved the dynamic between Bill, Ellie, and Joel, y'all take that away for a fucking love story. Episode 7.
When they still could have had it if they did it my way.
Yeah, episode 7. I love the DLC because it was just, it was a little fun. I love the mechanics. I love the extra stuff they did. Fun DLC. You
3
put it
months
to the TV,
after the game released,
it's boring as fuck because it's just them walking around. Y'all give us a great system on how the infected work. Guess what? It's never to be seen again. Y'all make Joel less of a superhero and more of a man by giving him problems like, hey, his knees are bad. He's older. He's not 52. He's 56. And guess what? That shit don't come into play. A lot of the scenes that hit in the game, like the "You're Not My Daughter" scene, the argument between Joel and Ellie, now the shit just doesn't hit as well. It's just a lot of stuff that I loved in the game. They bring it here, and it's just not the same.
Remember,
so I can't give it an 8.1. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
He is not a superhero until the very last few minutes of the episode 9. Yes. That's where he's the superhero.
I'm giving it a 7.5.
Even if you look in the game, it makes more sense in the game when he goes superhuman in the hospital because he isn't fucking as broken and he's healed up and there's and you feel like there's been time between the chapters and everything, so it makes more sense. But here, if you're gonna make him, like you just said, like a broken old man, he can't be acting like anything else than a broken old man. No matter how much adrenaline you give someone, they're going to be fucking broken.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's just I'm sorry to have bursted your bubble of The Last of Us, Big Daddy, but it's just, that's the thing, is I look at everything as if I've seen it for the first time, and then I compare it to what it comes from. That's what I've always done, and it makes me despise almost everything because I'm like, what could have been done differently? Sure, there are always limitations in budgets. There are limitations, but this is HBO. There's not really a limitation in budget.
Nah.
So the fact that they didn't do some of the simple things that I thought up of on the spot while just after what, literally, I saw that. So if I would have read the script, I would have immediately been like, let's change this, this, and this. Very simple changes, which would have impacted so much better and worked so much. Just
okay.
Well, I want to note, if you watch the listen to the HBO podcast, they literally talk about how for the director of Chernobyl, how they were pretty much going to support whatever he does next. They didn't 100% support if they didn't give the budgeting to get all the shit done.
Yeah. So he
So
had.
I didn't listen to the podcast because we're doing our own, so I don't want to,
you don't
Right,
want to
right.
take someone else's thoughts and use
Yep.
them as your own. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm not a podcast junkie kind of guy.
True, but
I can do
when I
whatever
listen
the
to somebody,
fuck I
when I
want.
listen to somebody else shit like podcast, and I try to do my own, it kind of fucks up my judgment, which is why I don't watch as
Right.
much as I used to watch. What's his name? Jeremy
Johns?
Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckerman. I don't watch their reviews no more because I do my own. So next thing you know, I'm gonna end
Right.
up saying the same shit that they're saying.
Yeah. You don't.
So-
You
Right.
never want to be a
But
cop.
then-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but then I also like you guys were like, I think it was you, Big Daddy. Hey, jump on the podcast. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, like fucking first thing, so I'm like, fucking, I got all these opinions in my head. Like,
But that's the thing. Everyone does have their own opinions. The thing
Yeah.
is, I'm one of those people that I could listen to what other people say, and I will literally die
Yeah.
on my horse about what I feel. Like The Last of Us, it's only gotten worse and worse and worse for me the more we've spoken about it, because I will start complaining about things, and then I'll think of other little things that could have been done, could have been changed. But
well, what was interesting from the podcast of the HBO series to the show, a lot of it was just bullshit, like filler politicized. It was literally them pumping up their show, never saying anything bad, right?
well, that's how it
Mhm.
always goes.
Exactly. So listening to it, I think after like 2 listens of like 2 podcasts, I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
This is a bunch of bullshit. Because that's what it was.
Yeah, they just want to encourage themselves. That's the thing. It's like I would want to know. Like I know some of the things I do are absolute trash. They're absolute trash. The thing
they
is
are.
to learn
That's
from
right.
it and work better or spend more time in
Yep.
making it better. That's the end goal. Not
Constructive criticism.
not going like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the best thing ever. We worked so hard on this, and this. Bill and Frank, it was so impactful. It was the greatest thing to work on. The ending was the best it could have ever been. That's complete BS. I came up with a better ending than them. And no matter when I first saw it, I'm like, no, this is what it was like in the game. They should have kept it. So they should have done this, this, and this. So we would have gotten it all the same. And it would have been far more impactful when Joel and Ellie left.
Yeah, but your giraffe opinion is bullshit. So
Of course.
But yeah, it's complete bullshit. Probably like the dumbest shit you ever
complete
said.
bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
Dumb
Right?
as shit. Like,
You can call me the N-word with the hard R, and I take that over you saying the giraffe scene is
Dude,
bullshit.
I felt that being white.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's just like the whole, like I come up with amazing ideas, just like the whole Brendan Fraser still being Ben O'Connell and bringing him back in modern day Mummy.
Who
Like
the fuck is
literally.
Ben O'Connell?
He's the
Benjamin
guy
O'Connell.
an actor. Yeah.
Brendan Fraser.
That.
Who the fuck is Ben O'Connell?
Mummy.
Brendan Fraser.
His character.
His character
Yeah, I know
is
Rick O'Connell.
oh, well, whatever. Rick O'Connell.
Get it right.
Oh, Benny.
Oh,
Benny was the bad guy.
shit.
Benny was the bad guy.
Shit.
Yeah. So it was just like
Benny's the bad guy.
so they could bring him back. I have an amazing idea for that.
Yeah.
Like you got to admit that one would take place in 2023 where he's still alive.
Rick, yeah, hey, I'm still trying to go get my tire patched up.
All right, yeah. But it's all the little things. It's a
I'm
5
gonna get my tire patched up.
out of 10.
Yeah.
It's a 5
get a
out of
5.
10. I will
give it a
never watch it again.
7.5.
I will
I'll give
never
it a
watch it again.
7.5. Because it's still probably the best video game adaptation of all time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Again, they still did a lot of stuff right. The performances were still great.
Wait,
Fucking
hold up.
Pedro and Bella did an amazing job as Joel and Ellie.
Hold
The effect that we did have, they did an amazing job on that. I love the clickers. You know, again, we could have got more of those. They did great on that. The making the bad guys more human. You know, they did good. There was a lot of stuff that they still did good. The show is not trash. It's just a lot of the choices that they try to change up or whatever, it just didn't work.
Yeah, but I also don't see myself ever going back and watching just scenes of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, look at Rogue One. Rogue One was a one-off for me, but I will always go back and watch the last 10 minutes for sure.
Oh, I could watch that whole movie.
Yeah,
Rogue One,
but
I
the
thought was
last
great.
10 minutes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it had something that Darth Vader turns on his... I thought it was ending when it went black.
Yes. Yes, I
And
thought
then
it was
he
over.
starts fighting, walking down the hall. It was amazing.
Even I was in there I was in the theater geeking out. I was like, oh my God.
Because you thought it
That was
ended right
amazing.
there. You
Yes.
thought that was the end, and then you see the red
That boy
lightsaber.
said, bitch.
And the fact that he had his
I like to watch
original
that.
suit. That's the thing, is like this show has nothing like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing that makes me want to come back to watch even a part of it. Even a part of it. It just not there.
Big Daddy, I want to say, you say it's like the best. I think still that short film with Nathan Fillion for Uncharted is the best adaptation.
I still think maybe
It was
Mortal
cool.
Kombat, DOA,
But like,
Super Smash.
even if it's like, it was like what, 30 minutes of Nathan Fillion doing Uncharted.
It was something like that. I did enjoy that. What do you
I'd
say
say-
when the little dude came in? That's him.
That
that was great.
The Street
Nathan
Fighter,
that
does
shit
that.
was good.
Tomb Raider.
And that shit is memorable as fuck. Where I like.
Hey, and it's
I might
another
actually
thing.
give this. I think I might give this a 6. Actually,
And that's another thing. They made this a TV show, which I thought was actually a smart choice.
Yeah, that was a smart choice.
yeah.
But they had a
y'all
TV
made it
show.
9 episodes, and y'all gave us mostly filler. That's where you fucked
Right.
up at. The episodes that should have been, an hour and a half, y'all made that like fucking 40 minutes. Oh, let's give Bill and
Right.
Frank an hour and a half episode. Why? Why not have the season finale be an hour and a half episode? Why not have the David episode be about an hour and a half? Let's give the scene. Let's give Ken the episode with Tommy and Maria. Let's make that one an hour. Why? Episodes that were okay, y'all made that an hour, more than an hour. But the episodes that really, the best episodes were like the shortest, which was
Wasn't
kind of
episode
bullshit.
7 long too?
Yes, episode
Yes,
7
it was
was
like an
long.
hour
Episode
long.
7 was an hour. That's what
Yep.
I'm saying.
Yep.
The weakest episodes be an hour, but then the shit that the best episodes end up being shorter, or the episodes that need more time, you give them less time. That's
If you were like, listen to everybody say, everybody was always saying before this even aired that episode 3 was going to be the best. When episode 7 came out, everybody was saying, "Oh, this shit's the best." Like,
you already know why though.
yeah, exactly, right?
Oh,
So it
episode
was
3 is
just,
the
like, Nintendo pushing shit.
best piece of television ever. Really? So you telling me that episode 3 is better than every fucking episode of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul? Get the fuck out of here. The box cutter episode is 100 times better than episode 3.
Honestly, the what is it? The bottle episode from Friends, where they're all in the room. Give me my cushions.
Oh,
You took the essence
get
of
out
the
the
couch.
chair, deal hole.
Yeah, you took the essence.
Yeah. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? What you gonna do? Put my clothes on? And then he puts all his clothes on.
Yep. What
Can I be wearing any more clothes?
It's like
Okay.
I'm not wearing any underwear.
Okay, so before we end this, what's a video game that y'all want them to adapt next?
Knights of the Old
into a
Republic.
movie or TV show? Which one?
Knights of the Old Republic. But no, never mind. They've screwed over enough of Star Wars. I don't want them to touch
Yeah, you
that.
sure about that? Yeah.
I don't want them to touch that. What's a terrible game that could be adapted?
Beneficial.
Which one? What you say, Fox?
That could be like beneficial from the
Yeah.
That could be
Because
beneficial for
sometimes
it.
it's just like perfect example. Leave Metal Gear Solid alone. Y'all
It
gonna
is a
fuck
movie.
that up.
It is a movie.
That's a game that has like 20-hour cutscenes.
Like
you'd have to make like a whole you have to make fucking 25 movies just for one game.
Like that's the thing. Think about it. Mortal Kombat is amazing because look at what the source material.
Yes, it's just a fighting game.
Tomb Raider.
You know what?
What's amazing
You know what?
because look at the source
I do
material.
have one.
What's up?
I do have one. It Ghost of Tsushima. If you've ever played that
Oh
game,
no, they're actually working on that. They're working on that right
Yeah.
now.
really?
I'm worried about
Yep.
that.
No, that game visually was beautiful. I think it would just, I think it would do better if it was a TV show, had more time to adapt, and I want it to just be a purely Japan. Like I don't even give a fuck. I want it to be purely fucking Japanese directed.
Oh,
And
and,
I want-
spoken too. Make it subtitles.
100%. I
It
don't
has to
care
be
if we
original.
can have-
I have Tom Cruise as the main person.
Fuck off.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu,
Bro,
no,
I swear to God, I was
Ronin
thinking that too
47.
because of Ronin. The 47 Ronin. Yeah, I was
I'm
thinking
okay
that
with
too.
that. But no, I feel like that's a show that would benefit
Mhm.
because I felt like the story wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, but the visuals were, and I feel like they can improve the story if they have it fully Japanese.
So I only play, I want to say like maybe 2 hours of it because my controller was messing up. But from what I did play, I really loved it. It was great. Also like the beginning to where they had that little battle and the dude comes for the one-on-one and homie just pours the alcohol on him and light him on fire.
Right. And the biggest thing about that series, that game is the visuals. Yeah. But if you remember the story's kind of underwhelming, to be honest. Okay. It wasn't that great of a story, and I just feel like it would 100% benefit from an all-Japanese remake to a TV series.
So already they're working on Ghost of Tsushima. They're working on Amazon is doing God of War TV show.
Right. They've already killed Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time,
and they're working on the what was the game that's also on PlayStation? Horizon. They're working on Horizon Zero Dawn. I think. TV show.
But they won't have Lance. They won't have Lance Reddick.
All right. So
yeah, I know.
I gotta say, one thing. Now that you guys mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, I want a Jade Empire. It's made by the same company that made Knights of the Old Republic, LucasArts. Jade Empire, I think, would be a nice one. It isn't as amazing as Knights of the Old Republic was, but it still had that twist ending that you didn't expect, and I loved that story. I loved it.
Right.
So actually, I have two. One of them is True Crime Streets of LA.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was fire. Nick can't, because there's a thing about that. They can do it one or two ways. They can either go, because y'all played that game, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I saw how it went kind of stupid and had like the mystical creatures and shit. Yeah. They can do that, or they can just keep it with a regular story. But regardless, I feel like that'd be a dope movie. And we have some cool Asian actors. Like we got get the nigga that played Shang-Chi, play Nick Cage.
Yep.
I think he'd be awesome.
Dude, I thought you were about, when you first said Nick, I thought you were going to say Nick Cannon. I'm like, excuse me?
No.
I was thinking Nick Cage. I was thinking Nick Cage.
His name was Nick
Cannon, just like a fucking...
Nick Cannon.
Get Nick Cage for the role.
You can get homie that played Shang-Chi to play Nick Cage. I think that'd be awesome. And also The Suffering. Have y'all played that one?
No, I don't.
The Suffering is about this guy who's on death row, and then all of a sudden, like a bunch of fucking like demons and shit take over the prison. They actually made 2 video games. That shit was actually kind of scary.
Sounds like Outlast.
No, but it's more action. It's more action a bit too. Right. Outlast would be a great one too. Outlast would be great if they. I mean, because dude, you're not fighting. You have a camera the entire time.
Outlast
you saw me when I did my playthrough. I was screaming like a little bitch.
Yeah,
Outlast would be a great one.
I feel like that would have to just be a movie. I don't know about.
Oh no! It doesn't. It doesn't have to be a TV show.
Yeah, it's show or movie. Show or movie.
Those can be movies. You don't have to be TV shows.
Right. But
Metal Gear Solid would have to be a TV show.
Yeah, but I don't think. I feel like if you try to do Metal Gear Solid, it's gonna get shit on.
Yeah,
dude, they already have Oscar Isaacs playing Solid Snake. It's already confirmed.
Oh,
they're fucking up. They're gonna fuck that up.
Oh, but who's like fucking?
Get Scott Adkins to play that role.
Wait, is it HBO or something?
No, that I don't know yet.
Because like they're already gonna fuck that shit up.
Just de-age Kurt Russell. Boom. There you go.
Oof, yeah.
That's all you got. He can play Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Big Boss. He can do all that shit.
You know what? You could do Keanu Reeves in that shit.
I'm thinking Scott Adkins.
Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is Solid Snake now.
Well, better than fucking
motherfucker ain't got emotion.
Better than Oscar Isaac, in my opinion.
Oscar Isaac is a great actor.
He is, but I don't feel like he's Solid Snake. I can't see it.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. It's probably if it's gonna be a movie.
Man, I think so. I hope not. If they do it, if it's a movie, it's done. It's gonna be trash.
It'll have to be the open world game.
The open world game as a movie. Just watch it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The Last of Us was a huge letdown. I know you were hyping it up, but I can name them off the top of my hand. Like I named them DOA, Tomb Raider, freaking Mortal Kombat.
Of all the video game adaptations, I'd watch Dead or Alive over this. I'd watch Mortal Kombat over this because we're talking about watchability. I don't see myself watching this a million times. Like there are a lot of dark shows I can sit back and that fucking hits me here that I can rewatch over. This I couldn't. I can't see myself watching this a million times.
Super Smash Bros. Had the elevator scene. So
yeah.
So points to that.
Great scene. But yeah, I'm sticking with my 7.5.
Yeah.
But
I think that's about it. That's wrapping it up now.
Yep.
We're off talking about other things. Fox, you take care of that cold of yours.
Fuck off.
Hey, let hold on. He's the guest. Let Fox end it.
Yeah.
How do you want me to... Oh, thanks for watching us stupid motherfuckers talk about shit we don't understand. Thanks.
And thank you for listening. Yeah, for those of you who listen. Yeah.
And as always, we'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for listening to old fucks talk about shit we don't understand.
Old, you're the young one here.
You're Canadian. You're supposed to be the nice one.
Oh, old fuckers,
Yeah, he's the nice one who's yeah. So he does. I don't think he counts because if you think about it, he's in Canada. His girl's in Mexico, so I think by default they're American.
Fuck off.
By default, they're American.
Hey, by the way, I forgot to say it. Episode 8. Episode 8 was like 40 minutes away from me.
Oh, and you ain't go see it?
I ain't go see it. Fucking, I go see it like next week.
One thing I gotta say, I was about to say something.
Okay, I'm about to leave.
I completely forgot. What I was about to say.
I'm about to leave. So, thank y'all for watching. As always, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Doodles.
Peace.